I asked my fiancée for a prenup, and everything changed. She got upset, actually more than upset. She looked at me like I just accused her of a crime. "We're not rich enough for that," she snapped, waving off the idea like it was absurd. But the moment I casually mentioned my savings, her attitude flipped like a switch. Suddenly, she started talking about how tough her student loans were and how maybe, just maybe, we could pay them off together after marriage. That was the moment something in me shifted. I didn't yell. I didn't argue. I just listened, took a breath, and later, I walked away. I never looked back. Hi, Reddit. I'm Brian, 35, an engineer by profession, and a full-blown personal finance nerd by passion. I'm the kind of guy who actually enjoys reading tax code updates, has 3 backup spreadsheets for his portfolio, and tracks his net worth like some people track their steps. Not exactly the life of the party, but it served me well. 2 years ago, I met Kendra through a mutual friend at a game night. She was lively, unpredictable in a magnetic way, and had this spontaneous charm, like she might break into a Broadway number at any moment. Our first date ended with her belting out Bohemian Rhapsody at full volume in a Chili's parking lot, using a breadstick as a mic. I should have taken that as a warning sign, but I thought it was adorable. Love makes us blind like that. Things move fast. Within a year, I proposed. It was during a hiking trip in Yosemite. Sunset, ring in hand, nerves in overdrive. She cried. I cried, though mostly from the pain of a twisted ankle I earned coming down the trail. It was messy and perfect in that kind of storybook way. Everyone around us said we were a great match. But somewhere along the way, reality started whispering in my ear, asking if I was ignoring signs I shouldn't. It started 6 months before the wedding. I brought up the idea of a prenup, not because I thought she was after my money, but because it's just smart. I'm a planner. I approach relationships like I approach engineering, with structure, foresight, and caution. After dinner one night, I said gently, "I think we should talk about a prenup." She blinked like I'd spoken in a different language. "A prenup? Brian, we're not celebrities. You're not Kanye, and I'm definitely not Kim. What's the point?" I smiled, trying to keep it light. "It's not about being rich. It's just about protecting what we each bring in. You've got your career, I've got mine. It's a safeguard for both of us." Her expression darkened. The hurt in her eyes morphed quickly into suspicion. "So you don't trust me? You think I'm with you for money?" She stood, crossed her arms, and launched into a speech about how love shouldn't come with conditions. But I never said I didn't trust her. I just wanted clarity, boundaries, mutual respect. She wasn't hearing that. I let it go for the night, but it stuck with me. Her overreaction didn't feel like love being wounded. It felt like a plan being disrupted. About a week later, she brought up her student loans over dinner. Casual, like she was discussing weekend plans. "So, I've still got about $94,000 in student debt. It's been rough keeping up, honestly." I nodded, sincere. "Yeah, that's a lot. I'm sure it's stressful." Then came the smile. Sweet, like caramel-coated manipulation. "Maybe once we're married, we can consolidate things and pay it off faster. Together." I paused, fork halfway in my mouth. "Together? What do you mean?" She blinked. "Well, your income would help with the payments, right? I mean, that's only fair." Fair. That word rang in my ears like a fire alarm. I kept my expression neutral, but inside, I was reeling. She wanted me to use my income to pay off almost $100,000 in loans tied to a degree that landed her bartending gigs. I didn't say anything right then. But that night, I sat on my couch with my laptop and started going through my finances with new eyes. I'd been careful with money since my early 20s. No impulsive spending, no get-rich-quick schemes. I drove a 10-year-old car, cooked at home most nights, and wore the same sneakers from high school P. No shame. I saved, I invested, and I kept things modest. By the time I proposed, I quietly built a portfolio worth just over $460,000. Retirement accounts, index funds, a few stable dividend stocks. Nothing flashy, but solid. I never told Kendra the exact number. She knew I was good with money, Sure, but I never broadcasted my net worth. But once I casually mentioned I had some savings, just in theory, her tone shifted. She started talking about our shared future, suggested we delay the prenup talk until after the honeymoon, when things were less stressful. Then came the breaking point. One night, her phone buzzed on the counter while she was in the shower. I glanced over. I wasn't snooping, but the screen lit up and I saw my name. A text from one of her friends. "Girl, you better lock that down. If he's got that kind of money and still shops at thrift stores, he's probably loaded. Get the ring. Then talk him into putting your loans in his name. Just play the long game." Her reply? "Oh, I'm already working on it. I just have to survive the prenup phase." It hit me like a brick wall. I stood there frozen, the air knocked out of my lungs. It wasn't even hidden. There it was, spelled out in plain language. I wasn't her partner. I was her plan. I didn't explode. I didn't confront her in some dramatic fashion. I slept on it, let the reality wash over me, and made a quiet decision. The next day, while she was at work, I packed a small bag, left the engagement ring on the counter, and walked out. I sent her a message. "I saw your text. I deserve better. This isn't going to work. I wish you the best." What followed was a storm of messages. Some apologetic, some manipulative, some downright threatening. She even had the audacity to send me a Venmo request labeled emotional damages. I almost sent her $1 with a note. For the performance of a lifetime. That was a year ago. Now, I'm with someone who has her own savings, her own goals, and her own spine. She doesn't see marriage as a financial lifeboat. We talk openly about money. No games, no guilt trips. As for Kendra, last I heard, she got engaged again to a guy who doesn't believe in prenups because love is forever. I give a year and a debt consolidation form. Here's what I've learned. A prenup isn't a lack of trust. It's not an insult. It's self-respect. It protects the years you spent working, saving, building yourself. And if someone lashes out just because you want to protect your future, maybe they were never part of it to begin with. So yeah, always get the prenup. And maybe steer clear of people who turn a Chili's parking lot into Broadway. That kind of chaos? It'll cost you.